Brandon Turnage, a Alabama defensive back, says that he's on the way to Georgia. That breaking late Friday night, and it's a big move for Georgia. Dean Legge from Dawg Post making you a smarter Georgia fan. He didn't play a lot at Alabama, and I think that that's one thing that Alabama fans will say, and they're right about that. There's no question. But this isn't about Alabama. It's about the problem that Georgia has in its secondary. And right now, this is a move that's going to help Georgia address that. The question is when. That's why I want you to stick with me on this journey talking about this. Right now, the SEC and the NCAA are going through a lot of discussion about transfers and one-time transfers, etc. Just because the NCAA does it doesn't mean that the SEC will allow it. So there's going to be some back and forth about that. But at the end of the day, when I look this way, I'm always looking at the board, which has all the players on it. You are addressing a problem that you've got. Before Turnage came on board for Georgia, they were at 12 defensive backs total, just defensive backs, nevertheless corners. I think he's going to play corner at Georgia. He's a guy that was a top 105 or so, 102 prospect in the country 2 years ago. So there's plenty left to go there. There's plenty left in the tank. So this would be two people that will transfer into Georgia with the possibility of playing this fall. We know that the West Virginia transfer, he's going to play. That's not in conference. There's no issues there. So the question has become, well, are we going to have in conference transfers who can play right away for years? And this is what the rule was when I was playing in college. You could not transfer and play right away. Well, that has been eroded away, and now there's a lot of different ways to transfer and play right away. And in this case, this year, it may just be full on. You can transfer once your entire career, and that's it. You can just do whatever you want to do. So, in that transfer. So we'll just see. Now, you're getting a guy who played 4 total games at Alabama, so not a lot. And the secondary at Bama this past year was not, the defense, generally speaking, was not some sort of elite group like they've had in the past when Kirby was there even. When those Alabama defense was really the hard thing to deal with on that team. But for Georgia, their situation is as follows. They need defensive backs. They don't know, what the future holds at that position. And they know immediately what the future holds, which is that they don't have enough guys. You look at their depth chart, and it's okay at the start up at the top, but then you got a lot of young guys. There are people that they're going to depend on who have really never played a college football game or not a meaningful snap. Keely Ringo's never played. Jalen Kimber. You're talking about Green, Daniel, Lassiter, Bullard. Those guys have never played. Some of those guys are going to have to play because when you look at the older group, Ahmed Speed, Brini, Smith, Poole, Seen, all those guys are safeties. Or they're most of them safeties. Seen was saying in the spring that he was probably going to play some DB or was going to play some corner. We're just going to have to see. I don't know. We only saw so much. The thing about it is really important is if Keely Ringo's ready and is serviceable and is as good as everybody kind of thought he was, that's going to make a big difference for Georgia. If you're talking about, moving Lewis Seen to another, to the corner, that's not what it looked like at G-Day. If memory serves correct, they had Speed and Kimber as the starters. I can't remember. I know Lewis and Chris Smith were the safeties, but the DBs are the problem are the corners. I keep saying DBs. You want corners. You want legit corners. They've had legit corners these last 2 years with Eric and Tyson Campbell. So this is a predicament for Georgia. This is certainly a position where they need something, and they've gone after it. They've gotten 2 DBs to come in and that they hope. Certainly one will play. I don't know if they really hope 2 will play or not. Again, this is a tricky situation for Georgia. I can't imagine that a coach would really want there to be in-conference transfers and you can play the next year. That didn't happen with Brent Cox, but that happened with Cade Mays. That was a real problem. Georgia really was pissed about that because they felt like that was the wrong decision that the SEC's commissioner made, Greg Sankey. And Georgia never complains about that stuff, and they definitely did about Cade Mays playing. They thought it was wrong. But we may be in a situation here where everybody can transfer one time and play wherever they want. Kirby's move on this has been there's a lot of different places you can transfer and play right away that are not in the SEC. Well, with this young man, we're going to see. We don't know. But in terms of the future, whether he plays this fall or not, it is a necessary position. It is total. People talk about position of need. Georgia is certainly in a position of need. Corner is certainly, and just DB generally speaking, is certainly a position of need for Georgia. Again, I'm not going to turn the camera, but if they have more offensive linemen than they have defensive backs, and they have fewer defensive backs than they have really any other position as groups, defensive line or linebackers as groups on the defense. So that's not ideal. That's not what you want in a position that Georgia's in. I mean, they're going to start the season against Clemson, who is going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to. They're going to throw it on Georgia. The question is, can you limit them in their passing game? I mean, they've got some guys coming back that didn't play last year at receiver who are really good players. This is a good Clemson offense, but it's predicated on Uiagalelei being able to throw the ball. And if you can throw it on Georgia, Mississippi State threw it on Georgia. Certainly Alabama did. Florida did. 2 of those 3 games Georgia lost. So it's something that you're going to really want to pay attention to as we go on here. This is stuff we talk about all the time on Dawg Post. Go over to dawgpost.com, DAWGPOST. We'll see you over on the website.